What is up, YouTube? Friday afternoon, MMAsucker.com. I am Jeremy Brand, and I'm bringing you another video a little later than normal, a little later in the afternoon. I would have liked to have dropped this one a little quicker than I have here, but I'm going to drop it now. It's about the new UFC gloves. They have come out with brand new gloves for fighters. They come out with different designs, different styles. In terms of coloring scheme, and they've come out with, they've got a little bit more padding, they've got a little bit more other stuff going on with them. They look almost identical to the old glove. Fighters seem to say that they fit a little bit differently. Before we get into things, make sure you click that like button, click the subscribe button, and click the notification bell to know when we have new videos dropping here on the MMA Sucker YouTube channel, which we've had a ton this week. We've had interviews, we've had UFC 300 stuff drop, and of course I put out videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday for your viewing pleasure. Fraser Crone has the MMA Sucker podcast on Mondays, and he's been dropping some other little golden nuggets for your viewing pleasure as well throughout the week. So without further ado, the new UFC gloves. Let's have a look-see-loo at them. UFC.com has posted these. There was a presentation today at the lead up to UFC 300. After the morning weigh-ins, they did a presentation for these new gloves. Brandon Fitzgerald, UFC commentator, was the host of the presentation, and he brought on the head or senior VP or something like that. I don't recall the name specifically, of the Performance Institute, the UFC PI, and this guy was in contact with the people making these gloves and in development with them, and the company that had them made and proceeded with them, and they will be unveiled at UFC 302 on June 1st in Newark, New Jersey, as it says here on UFC.com. You can see in the picture, if you head on over to UFC.com, it gives you all of the new technology, layers and layers of foam. They're much lighter. They have a curvature in the finger here, rather than going straight across like the old glove, used to. They now have a curvature, so your hand can curve more naturally, they say. The media got a chance to put the gloves on, had a chance to have a look at them, and supposedly they feel and fit a little better than the old gloves. They are about 1.5 ounces lighter than the old gloves. I'm not sure how that will make a difference in terms of knockouts and all that other kind of stuff. So yeah, as it says there, with a weight reduction of 1 to 1.5 ounces from the previous glove, they're made of genuine leather, maximum comfort, secure fit, and they have a new flex on the Velcro that straps in so that fighters can't shove their hand in through the bottom of the glove when they're grappling or getting into clinches and stuff like that. They'll also include a data chip, which you would think would be used for statistics and stuff like that, but unfortunately it's not. It's simply used in order to track the UFC fighter. So if a fighter is going to sell their gloves or sell their kit, it can be microchipped and tracked to show that it's officially and authenticate the glove that it's been worn. So if you're wanting to buy or auction off or buy from an auction a UFC authentic glove from, say, a champion, then you can, and it will be authenticated through this chip. Other than the new technology, it sounds like these gloves will be safer for the fighters, with more padding, safer for their hands, not necessarily safer for the faces, but we'll see how that goes. But should be good for to minimize the possibility of abrasions and cuts, while padding added to the sides of the gloves at the index and pinky finger protect vulnerable bones, as it says on UFC.com. As I said in the lead up, the designs, there will be a number of different designs and looks. Very stylish, they say on UFC.com. The 3-8 and the 5-8, which are named for 3-round and 5-round fights in the UFC octagon. Both styles are identical with the exception of the color. In the video that was presented, they talked about rounds 4 and 5, which a lot of people were like, what are you talking about? Rounds 4 and 5? Will they change out gloves? No, for championship rounds. No, they're not going to change out gloves for championship rounds, but they will get these nice looking gold gloves, which have a little bit of an octagon design on them, the gold gloves, and those will be used for championship fights. Every other fighter in the UFC will get to wear the black, or gunmetal as they call them, UFC gloves. And then there's also, which they're not shown on here, a photo of the new UFC gloves was posted on Reddit. As you can see, the gold championship gloves, the gunmetal black or gunmetal gray, whatever you want to call it, UFC gloves, which every fighter in the UFC will be wearing, along with Ultimate Fighter gloves, which you wear in the Ultimate Fighter, Dana White's Contender Series gloves, which are blue, and red Road to the Octagon gloves. So they said in the video leading up to the presentation of the gloves that, you know, that everyone's journey is different when it comes to wearing the gloves in a mixed martial arts cage, and now you can journey through with either Dana White's Contender Series Tough or UFC gloves before getting your hands on those championship gold gloves. A question from a media member came up during the press conference about eye pokes, which is the number one reason why people wanted to change gloves to either Trevor Whitman's glove or Pride style gloves. And he said that, believe it or not, these gloves were tested at the last season of Dana White's Contender Series, and nobody knew about it, including Brendan Fitzgerald, saying as a commentator that he had no clue that these gloves were being used during Dana White's Contender Series. But eye pokes actually went down on that season in comparison to previous seasons. So whether or not it's implemented into the technology, they saw the numbers dwindle down a little bit. And if you want to go watch the full presentation of the UFC gloves, I'll leave a link in the description below. But they talk about percentages of eye pokes each year inside the octagon and in MMA. And it's not as high as one would think it is. But from the looks of it, these gloves could help. And I'm sure they will continue to make strides going forward to eliminate eye pokes if they can. But what we saw from this presentation is that the gloves are sort of the last piece of equipment that UFC has made a change of. They've changed, they've changed the shorts and the fight equipment and sponsors and all that other kind of stuff. And now finally getting to the gloves, which is the last step. And obviously, I'm sure probably the most important step. That's about it for these brand new fight gloves. Let me know what you think of them and if you think they're going to make that much of a difference in terms of inside the octagon and knockouts, or even those slimy eye pokes. John Jones, Chris Weidman, are these gloves going to do it for you? Who the heck knows? But let me know in the comments section below. But make sure you like, subscribe, and click that notification bell when I have new videos coming to you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.